Hello, everybody, and welcome to this. I guess it's the third round of the top 12 tournament. It is the first round of the losers bracket, which is going to be between KDCM 17, Q Dodgers, and the Ghosts of Nox B team, just to keep it absolutely clear about who's fighting here. This is the first round of this top 12 tournament where someone is going to be eliminated. It is a double elimination tournament. Both of these teams have lost a match. One of these teams will move on. One will be getting the axe tonight. Who will it be? We'll find out soon. I'm Ivor. With me is Therax, casting on MWO Leagues 2.
Yeah, we've got 2 channels live, so pick your spectate view.
And also with us as our subject matter expert, top tier player, giving expert commentary is Tios.
Hello. Thank you very much for having me here.
All right. And while I continue to try to get some teams in here, I'm going to send over to the map room. Feel free to use it. Switch to whatever map you want. But I thought I would have you talk today to, we've talked these maps to death over the past almost 2 months now, it feels like. So let's talk about something different. We have KDCM in this match, a notorious pushing team. So let's talk about what kind of things you might want to consider when pushing, pathing, scouting, all that kind of stuff. Let's talk about taking the N out of the NSR.
So, actually, as we're about to map ban, what I want to highlight is which maps each team will probably want to go for first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because GNX, a very chronic trading team, they do have a bit of a reputation for sitting in the back of the map. KDCM, very chronic NSR. Well, hopefully not no skill rush, but obviously run at the enemy. So the maps you kind of pick sort of set the stage. For GNX, the maps you're probably going to feel most comfortable on as far as wanting to avoid being pushed. Well, actually, truth be told, the map pool this year is very brawl friendly, but for GNX, I think the 2 maps you really want to pick and prioritize to make sure that you do not get ran down are Crimson Strait and Vitrix Station. Those 2 maps are the best maps in which you can set up a defense. Crimson Strait, really the biggest thing about it is that there are just very open sightlines that make it incredibly easy to defend yourself against a push. I mean, if you set up traders here, these powerful trading spots for team 2 and then these powerful trading spots for team 1, no matter which side you're on, there are very long sight lines that are going to allow you very open trying to push on Crimson Strait, whether you push through platform, trying to push over, or through island or around it, any way you go, it's just sort of a shooting gallery. So if I were KDCM, I would want to avoid this map. If I were GNX, I would pick this map first immediately. This map needs to be in the pool. Vitrix Station, it's not near as big, but it still has a lot of those open sight lines, so you can still get a lot of that early damage. It's definitely not as push adverse as Crimson Strait, but it's definitely one of the easier receive maps. Hibernal, Mining, and Polar, these are all very push friendly maps. So I would imagine that GNX is probably going to ban. If I were to guess, I'd probably say Hibernal, just because for a team that likes to chronically trade and sit at long range as much as GNX, Hibernal just doesn't seem like the safe pick. Now to touch on Ivor's point.
Ooh, before you go, just a clarification point on this. This is map selection, not map ban. So I think what you mean by ban is put it later in the series in case you don't have to play it.
Yes. We are playing best of 3, so really it's putting your weakest map last in hopes that you win 3-0, 3-1. That way, if Polar is your weakest map and you make it the last map, ideally you don't end up there.
All right, continue.
Now then, yeah. So going back to where Ivor said about how to push and sort of make it a successful push strat. Sort of depends on 3 things. The first is scouting. You need to know where your enemy is in order to know the quickest and safest route in order to get to them. Let's say your enemy is setting up, say, junkyard, back of map, epsilon side. Running around for a kappa push strat is obviously how you die. So the first things first is scouting to analyze where the enemy is. The second thing is just general map knowledge, being able to derive a safe path to run at them. For this, it would most likely be center, hugging the epsilon wall, and then going around. And then finally, the final thing is just honestly, it's sort of, I don't want to say bravery, but it's not fumbling the ball when the time comes to push. The phrase goes around a lot. It's an online game. Don't be afraid of getting hurt. If you get hurt in the video game, you don't get hurt in real life. When that push is called, it doesn't matter if you don't think it's the right call. It doesn't matter if you're unsure. You need to go. Because if your team tries to push with 7 because they're down you lose. Your entire team is out. The moment the moment the push is called, you need to have absolute faith. You need to focus fire, and you just need to run straight in. Any stall typically means a loss. Final point really is just honestly, a push deck is very mech lab reliant. You need mechs that are quick. You need mechs that are tanky. You need mechs that everybody is comfortable in. All that. So I would say a push is definitely a lot easier to get wrong, even though a push deck can end up being stronger than a trade deck on most of these maps. It's a lot more fine-tuned points that you have to get right, and there's no real equation to it. It's just honestly putting your face to the grindstone time and time and time and time again.
All right, fair enough. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna go over how GNX should react to a push deck. However, if it's time for the map ban,
it is time for the map ban, and we could probably talk about it a little bit without the map aid here. All right, I will give them the notice to begin, and we'll go on that. All right, feel free to continue talking while we look at these maps come in.
So for GNX, the way you really counter a push deck, great scouting. You need to know if they're pushing immediately, because if they are trying to push, the first thing you need to do is get out in the open and sort of basically set up in positions to farm before they can get close. So you need to, did KDCM choose Crimson?
KDCM chose Crimson, and GNX chose Vitric for our first two.
Choosing Crimson is not what I would do if you're running a Brawl deck. I wonder if KDCM has something swapped up planned.
KDCM has had some great success on Crimson Straight with sort of almost a hybrid. So I would expect to see that. Like they've been fainting a bit on that, so they're feeling pretty good about that, I would imagine.
Yeah, their island push in Crimson Straight has looked quite strong, and they've brought hybrid builds on their assaults there. So they could trade potentially if they're forced to.
Or allowed to, I guess. Although they've taken that and just pushed with it. I think it's ultimately a push, but
yeah. But for GNX, establishing good lines, setting up early scouting, those are really the biggest benefits, or those are really the biggest things you need to do if you run a trade deck. Because your push, you sort of win or lose the push based off of how much early damage you can do if you're GNX getting pushed, and it's KDCM, it's how much early damage you can avoid. That's pretty much decides what will win or lose the push, is early damage.
And I think to that point, something we've seen a lot of teams end up doing in some of the earlier matches is they come prepared for a push and they stall, and they don't tuck in and wait. They just keep kind of trading and losing armor, which essentially has that same effect as losing all that armor going in.
I'm looking at these team selections right now. Vitric teams are a little more balanced than KDCM. Does this mean KDCM is team 1 on Crimson?
Yes. No, KDCM is team 2. Red team is team 2.
Okay. Okay, so KDCM, team 2 is the stronger trading side, so KDCM taking that from them definitely amounts to a hefty advantage, just because honestly, team 2 is a lot harder to push in, just because of this 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 back mountain spawn here and the front platform control here make team 2 a little more rough to push. So it makes sense that trying to think of what KDCM would do. KDCM is very much a black box to me. There are many of their strats that I do not understand. But as for what GNX will do, I honestly think GNX will do the most cookie cutter strats we have on this map. I think they're just going to set up Epsilon. I think they're going to set up D4 Shoreline, try to trade. I think they're going to send Wolfpack to Theta. I honestly think GNX is going to take a lot of the cookie cutter straightforward strats we've seen. For those of you who've been watching MWO Comp this year, Crimson Strait has been a lot of our map pool this year. I don't think we've had a single league without Crimson Strait. So it's kind of down to a science, to be honest. I feel like anybody who's been around for this year and anybody who's watched Div A games, I feel like they know how to play Crimson by now. Or at least I feel like they know how it'll play out if they're watching it.
I've still seen teams making mistakes on it, but it is a map that, at the higher levels you'd expect to have been figured out. KDCM basically has two options here. I would see it as either an island push, where they can then either continue the push through the water, which we've seen them do in the past, sometimes sending a distraction over to Delta 3 while the rest make the crossing, or they might go saddle, is what I'm thinking here. I think everyone would expect them to go island, so maybe they'll mix it up and do something a little bit different with some sort of a saddle maneuver. But GNX isn't going to send a mech to Theta by itself to get jumped. So
something. So to show what we've been what we've seen from KDCM is they'll have mechs go to the island, and their Wolfpack will go saddle.
Yeah.
And come in here. Now, when they make the push, they will send one mech out here to Delta 3. All the rest cross over here into Delta 4, and the Wolfpack comes in to meet if that's necessary. Otherwise, it depends on where they meet the team. But that's sort of their push pattern so far this season. We'll see if they stick to it.
Definitely what they've been doing. So they might change things up here. This is an elimination match, so you don't want to save strats anymore. If you were saving strats, now's the time to crack them out, so things could be a little bit different.
I hope to see that KDCM trade. They're capable. I swear to God, they're capable. They're just not showing it.
One thing I would like to say is that GNX trying to set up early trade or forward trade on the island is a dangerous play against a team that likes to push. I think if GNX does that, it's instant suicide.
If you try to push a mech to the island, like by the time that you get the notification that you're being pushed from across island, you kind of just got to start pulling back. You're going to get caught in the water potentially, or out in the open. It's too risky. So I wouldn't expect GNX to push anything toward the island. I think they should be setting up using these back range spots.
Might even see a little bit of Theta play from them to send a light in and then back, just to apply that pressure that KDCM can't ignore them.
Definitely. I think GNX should send one mech to Theta, and have a couple others kind of in the vicinity, making sure they don't get jumped, but not leaving for Theta in order to leave the team abandoned in case the push does occur. You want something fast so whoever goes for Theta can make it back if there is a brawl. Although that is still, how long does it take? Like a minute and a half for a Viper to get from Charlie 4 all the way to Echo 8? Like it's crazy long. It feels that long at least.
I think it might be a little bit less, but you're right. It does feel long, and when there's a fight going on, it is that long. It might as well be that long, because you are out of the fight.
I don't know if I've seen a mech from Theta make it back to a brawl fight before the fight's effectively over. So it's a high risk play to go for Theta, but just getting that early pressure from a sliver cap and then an immediate return might be worth it.
All right, so team 1 is locked. Team 2's time has started almost 30 seconds ago. So we'll see how their team shake out. They still got 9 folks on the field.
Yeah, and I guess we could just run through the format here again for anyone who's maybe joining us mid-season. Yeah, sure. It's week 3, but in case you're fresh here, it's a 480-ton limit. You've got up to 3 of a weight class. So you can have 3 lights, not 4 lights, or 3 mediums, not 4 mediums. And it's 8v8, so there are some weight classes that are not going to be maxed out. But there's a chassis limit on top of that, where you may not duplicate a specific chassis. You can only have 1 Wolfhound. You can't have a Wolfhound 1 and a Wolfhound 2. And a couple mechs are banned, mech chassis. Notably, the Stone Rhino, which is not yet available for C-Bills, is not allowed to be used here in competitive currently, along with the legendary mechs, which are not legal. And then, of course, the more recent Championship Series Executioner is not allowed in the map pool yet. Basically, it has to have a C-Bill variant or be available for MC in the in-game store, and that gives plenty of options to these teams. The meta, definitely focuses around specific chassis. I'd expect to see an Executioner here from KDCM. Crusaders are very popular. Both teams are likely to take that. Vipers, Fire Starters. Where it gets interesting is maybe a little bit more of those fringe picks.
For sure. Looking at the distribution here, I'm going to swap over to the lobby view here real quick. The other thing that you can look at these private lobby matches are these the Lance distribution. So looking at GNX, who is locked at this point, they probably, that 1X Severo is going to be in alpha. They're going to be scouting the backside of the island just to make sure there's nothing going on, maybe getting onto the island itself just as a scout. And then having the Bravo Charlie, the rest tells me that they're gonna favor the east side of this map towards Theta. So maybe we'll see some light mechs on the Theta. We see James Bond, a notorious fleet pilot in that Charlie Lance, might be headed to Theta. We'll see how it goes. And then versus KDCM, fixed Alpha Charlie, that Alpha Lance probably going Island Charlie, probably going Saddle. But let's see how it turns out. I'm going to launch these guys.
All right.
They are now ready.
Yeah, Jay being in that Alpha Lance, he'll be pushing toward the island. That he always leads the push, so I would expect a heavy push toward island led by Jay, and then GNX. Yes, the Charlie Lance, 3 mechs in there. I'm expecting that to be something to do with Theta.
Beautiful sunset. It is winter up here in the northeast of the U.S. So this sunset happened like, what, 5 hours ago? 6 hours ago?
Yeah, winter is not quite here yet. I might see some snow next week, so
oh boy,
it is tire change season.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I'm on the side of GNX. We see a Severo in the Direwolf. That was not what I expected. Meanwhile, we've got ourselves a Crusader, Black Lantern, Timberwolf. Timberwolf, interesting, with 2 Pulse. Direwolf with just the Gauss and Large, and our Rancor with a 5ER Large. I thought that took more. Maybe not. Let's see. What's on our 7S and a Javelin are in our Wolf Pack. Yeah, looks like some small Pulse skirmishers for the rest. James in a Piranha, not a Flea. To go off with the Black Lantern as the GNX line sets up trade to go against the island. What do we got over on KDCM?
So we've got Brawly Lights, Arctic Wolf, and the Jenner with SRM bombers, Javelin, Viper with machine gun builds. And then over on the bigs, we've got the Executioner as expected, quad ER large. Blood Asp is 6 ER large, has red laser backups on both. There's a Crusader 6T, I believe it was ER PPC and small laser, and then a Marauder with a mid-range Vomit, quad ER large. So these are 4 mechs that can trade, but it's Mead Pulse backup on the Marauder and lots of red lasers on the other 4.
And they are getting in that trade against Severo there. Severo down to 80% already, trading against 4 mechs. The Wolf Pack of KDCM is moving over to the island, though, as they just secure that, having encountered the GNX Wolf Pack. Severo down to 73%. What is happening?
I don't know if he's going to make it to cover. open center torso.
Oh,
yellow.
there's no cover for him here. Yeah, it's going to be real tough. As KDCM just lays into him. That's a lot of tonnage.
Trade a direwolf for scouting intel.
Yeah, let's see. Jay is the worst off at KDCM at 89% in that Crusader. Let's see. What's up here? Okay, the Ranker taking a position on this middle stack of rocks here in between the two cities. Stick a fish laying into the KDCM Wolfpack a bit there. As KDCM continues, there goes Severo. As KDCM continues to, as GNX loses, no, I was right. Yeah, KDCM is bleeding armor here. They are a mech up, but they're bleeding.
Pushing here, and the lights from KDCM are not here to assist the assaults.
Yep. Jormungandr is gonna probably go down unless he can make it around that corner. The GNX Wolfpack a little hesitant on that as FDLR in the Bloodass is just picking them apart. So Jormungandr has to be careful here, but he does have that Overwatch as they wait for it. And GNX picks up on the trap here, pulls back around the island, and are going to scout now the middle. Look at all these UAVs up here from GNX, making sure no one comes over the center. James Bond peeking the center of the island, and it looks like we've got an island fight, except for Stick of Fish is still out there, just kind of providing Overwatch at range, getting a few shots in here and there. KDCM clearing some. Let's see what happened to Jormungandr there. Jorm is legged. All right, and a little toasted. Was putting out as much damage as possible. And we've got ourselves a little bit of a standoff here. FD, we got some Bloodass fight going on a little here, maybe. But mostly clearing out some of those UAVs, making it a little more difficult for, each other. Both teams going for those UAVs.
It's going to be difficult to reposition for KDCM with that legged Marauder, and Jay and the Crusader has both legs red armor as well.
Yep.
Nobody's gone for Theta. Neither team's making any move in that direction, but neither team is pushing either.
Yeah, I think GNX, if they wanted Theta, they're the ones that would be able to get it, because we've got Stick of Fish over here on the Overwatch. Just who's he shooting at here? Probably Sneck here. Yeah, looking at 86%. Mostly cooked legs though, is really why we're yellow there. A little rough around the edges on that, but yeah, GNX gaining inches here by getting over the I guess the island saddle here as they start to make their push. No Kami-sama pushing up and catching a face full of lasers, pulling back, and the GNX push kind of stalls as they take a bit of an airstrike there, and they're just feeling each other out at this point.
Caps do favor GNX here to the slightest of margins.
Yeah, just a couple. If they run out the clock here on the island, that'll become necessary.
Yeah.
The interesting here is KDCM with the advantage in this fight if they decide to push. They are up 2 mechs essentially. Stick of Fish will be able to shoot into them. But if they can get on the right side of the island there, they can really just push Ghost and Nox. I don't know if they necessarily know what to do with that. Here we got some Bloodass trading. There's a nice blue line across the center of the screen.
The trade's at 1,800 meters, so there is some damage being dealt, but not meaningful.
Yeah, I mean, it adds up. It's been enough time. What's going on with Shone? What happened to you, bud? Just a little bit of toast. Here we go. Push around the back. Zelnega getting in there, checking it out, and coming away at 67% for his troubles, almost legged. That was a brutal pick there. I don't know why he's so green right now on that percentage. But KDCM just continuing to hemorrhage armor here. Ghost and Nox playing it very well. Let's see. Yeah, it's I'm not sure what's going on here. Mangoba and FDLR trading a little bit, getting a couple shots in there. Otherwise, we're still at our stalemate. Ahiru no Kami-sama might be about to catch a little bit of a fight here. Get a couple shots off at Jormungandr, who pushes out to get a little bit of revenge, but gets pushed back down by the Bloodass. FDLR at 70 or at 69%. Open legs, going legs through the water. But Stick of Fish also at 73%. I don't want to miss anything and go here check Stick of Fish, but Stick of Fish is also catching it.
Yeah, I'll take a look here. Previously there was nothing open. It's nothing's open, just yellow armor.
Okay.
73%, still pretty healthy.
Yeah, Jormungandr over here now at 60%. That leg probably just cooking himself a bit on the inside. throwing out some of that damage. Yeah, KDCM just kind of stuck here, and FD seems to be the trader to do it. FD and Jormungandr, I guess, are really their traders, and they're just trying to take care of Stick of Fish, I think, who's down to 64% now.
The Blood Asp is open leg here from FLDR.
And drops. Blood Asp is down off of that trading position. That could be what KDCM is looking for, and I think it is as they come around here. Kami-sama in the Phoenix Hawk on the chopping block first. 65% as they try to trace him down, and they get that leg. Let's see how about the rest. Well, it doesn't matter because he's down, and over the top we go. We've got Giggity going after Mangoba. No one's stopping to deal with James, who's just biting everybody's ankles here. Mangoba goes down to be traded for Tawars, and Jay takes down Buster. Lionel takes out Zelnega. It's still a one mech advantage here, but KDCM has the close range advantage. Stick of Fish still tucked in there. Sneck going down to Overheat. Tokido losing a leg there as Shone continues to work. Lionel finally takes out Jay. Tokido self-destruction on there. Who's left? We've got Shone for KDCM against, well, okay, not James anymore. Lionel Luther again taking some fire from there, and we're down to FDLR in the Blood Asp, Jormungandr in the Marauder. Both these folks on the island looking to take care of Lionel, who is legged. And we've got Stick of Fish over here in the city. While they clean up, I'm going to take a look and see how Stick of Fish fared through all of that.
Stick of Fish is one-touch center torso.
Yeah, this is very possible for KDCM. It's so close.
Somebody has to have legs to go get a cap yet at the end of all of this.
That is true. I think KDCM could cross. Probably even legged. They could probably make that if they're able to close out. There goes Fish. FD closes Fish, and now we've just got Luther. Jormungandr I know is legged. Did FD looks legged. Yeah, there are 3 mechs, 3 legs. Here we go. All right, FDLR just eking around that corner like the Death Star in episode 4. And should catch Lionel here, but we'll see how Lionel guards his leg. He's just got to hold on for probably 4 minutes. I don't know if that's gonna work here with a leg javelin.
Down to leg shielding.
Yep.
Javelin.
Jormungandr is ready to go. If Luther can just get a clip on Jormungandr, and Jormungandr has the leg towards him, so it's very possible, but he seems to be hung up on FDLR, who finishes him off. All right, now it is the two-legged race here. Two Epsilon. But yes, there is ultimately plenty of time. KDCM. Jay with the limb faster. But yes, KDCM pulling it out with 2 mechs under 50%. Looking at Jormungandr's like that is just so ready to go. One burst from that javelin would have taken that out. FD quite a bit more healthy and had the range advantage there as well. So I think if Lionel could have gotten Jormungandr, probably would have fallen to FD in any case. Some of the banter going on in the text. Hit 0 and type in all chat. That is what we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's actually fairly close on caps. If there had been any more delay there on the side of GNX, there's a chance. But as soon as that Blood Asp was pushed down, it was push time. And
and KDCM did it exactly then.
The Blood Asp down, it's just a huge advantage there in number of mechs up.
And I think it was as close as it is ultimately because KDCM lost in that time between when the Direwolf went down and the Blood Asp dropped. They lost so much armor just sitting there. I think it would have been a little more of a runaway, quite frankly, if they hadn't lost about 20% on every mech, just about, at least. So should be good damage scores all the way around. Let's take a look. All right, 900 damage for FDLR trading against Fish. Fish coming in at 586. Double D for Zelnega, and that Viper just wasn't in there for long enough. 44 damage there, but there's enough damage to go around. I'll send it on over to the scoreboard so we can look at some more detailed information.
Yeah, Bloodass putting up 900 damage from FDLR.
Oh, also our banners were wrong on that
Stinklefish.
one. Sorry about that. We'll get that.
Oh,
That'll be fixed for the
I
next
forgot
one.
to check that.
That's all right.
Top team damage there, Jorgamunder, 19 damage. Not bad. Not bad at all. Direwolf put out 266 damage before going down. You do want more from the mech in that situation, but it was trading, I believe it was 1 versus 4 trading to start off with. So 266, good, but not terrible considering.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and flip that over to a map room.
Yeah, Teos, if you want to chat a bit about what just happened. Yeah. Teos, if you want to hop in here.
Yeah. So first things first, just to sort of go over some early notes, is that to start going over the mech picks, I feel like GNX sort of lost in the mech lab there, just like at the start of the match. Rancor was undergunned, which it lost directly trading Blood Asp against Blood Asp, so that kind of hurt it. Javelin is pretty frail, especially for the Brawl deck they have. Their Phoenix Hawk was undergunned, and the MG Piranha was just eh. KDCM had a bit more solid picks, definitely a few more questionable ones, but definitely nothing as questionable as those 4 I just put up. The GNX Dire setting up over Epsilon sort of died for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't be losing a 100-ton trader. You really can't. Way too much early damage onto GNX. Like, Sever, I'm sorry, but that was sort of a throw. When GNX pushed up to the island and sat against KDCM, GNX did a pretty good job of staying on their side of the island because you want to be because you want your Blood Asp Overwatch to have lines. And if you push all the way over the island, well, the Blood Asp can no longer shoot you due to the fact that there is an island in the way. So GNX did a pretty good job sitting over and sort of just waiting. When the final push happened, I sort of feel like KDCM through that when both sides ended up fighting in Echo 3, just because KDCM had such a health advantage. The Direwolf had died for free. The Blood Asp had to sit down. Jormungandr was legged, sure, but he still had all of his guns to bear. So yeah, seeing GNX come out on top of that was a little surprising, just because KDCM had such a powerful early showing in the match. But even then, it wasn't really enough.
FDLR.
Always FD clutched out in the end. If I'm being entirely honest, he came and saved the day in his Blood Asp. So huge props to him. If there are any officials watching this match, you better throw your vote to FDLR, or else I'm banning you from MWO. I'm kidding. I don't have the power to ban.
Oh, actually, I might be the official on this match. I should look into that.
Oh, well then, you should vote for FDLR. 100%. The man earned that vote. So and for GNX, honestly, I'd say the vote should probably go to Lionel. Even though they lost the match, Lionel did a very solid effort trying to pull it out from anything, and if he just managed to stall on the island, then they would have won. Of course, stalling in a Javelin that's legged against a Marauder 2C and a Blood Asp is not an easy task, but given the monumental task ahead of Lionel, he did a pretty solid job. So all things considered, GNX started the match with a huge deficit, both with the Mech Lab, Direwolf dying for free, and the Blood Asp just not winning its trades at all the entire game. Walked to the island with the deficit, managed to even the playing field against all odds against KDCM, and then finally at the end there, KDCM just managed to clutch it out.
Now, I'm just going to ask a question here because we saw like a 2-minute, maybe even 3-minute stall out, both teams sitting in the water behind the island, neither side wanting to push for differing reasons. Was there ever an opportunity for one of the teams to send a light mech toward Theta, particularly for GNX, if they could have snuck off their Piranha?
I don't think so. If I was either of those team leads, the moment I saw the enemy send away something as important as a light, you just run in and take that fight while they're a mech down. Unfortunately, once you're sort of in that predicament of both teams on the island like that, full teams on the island waiting for an opportunity to push, you're sort of in an arms race at that point. Both teams are going to be poking and prodding, seeing who can get the best early damage. I assure you, the moment somebody is open, or the moment somebody, say, accidentally shuts down, gets open CT, gets legged, that alone, that small amount of edge is all you need to push through.
Okay, we're going on to Vitric Station as the next map. Maybe we got a couple minutes here yet.
If KDCM was so push happy on Crimson, I really think they're going to push here. I really think they're just going to run low ground and just shoop all the way in. GNX, given how much they're a trade team, we saw how they played that last match. I really think they're going to go up high and just set up like a Direwolf on one side, an Annihilator, a Mad Cat Mark II on the other, set up traders in the middle. They're going to play very slow and very stagnant because that's the type of game GNX is best suited to win. So I really think as the wild card here, as KDCM is the wild card here, they're the one that we're least likely to get. And that means that it's all going to come down to how GNX reacts to KDCM's movements. Of course, KDCM might surprise me. KDCM might decide to just set up and trade, control, Direwolf back here, Mad Cat Mark II here, maybe a back of the wall or the back of the map ER large mech, because those can actually be really infuriating and really annoying to deal with. And perhaps they'll just set up a 3-cap. Perhaps they'll just set up Gamma, Theta, Epsilon, GNX setting up Kappa, Theta, Sigma, and just go from there. One thing I will point out, though, is that if these two teams decide to go control, this map is backcap hell. It is so hard to hold on to, like, if you're team one, it is so hard to stop somebody from going both for Kappa and going for Sigma. Or if you're the other team, stopping from somebody from going Epsilon and going Gamma. You really have to give up one of your backcaps playing this map, and it's literally just an arms race of who can backcap. You're not going to hold on to the map control. It's just who can gain more ground quicker than you can lose it.
All right, and I think that puts us at a good spot. Both teams are ready. I'm going to go ahead and launch them into our second drop of the match, Vitric Station. All right, and our banners are correct. Cool.
Yeah, I'll try to track that going forward here.
All good. There's a lot going on. We're going on a little journey. Hang on, let me. Oh, I ended up in a server or in a cockpit. Cool, fantastic, love it. All right, well, now we got this, viewers have been looking for the first person point of view. So here we are, first person point of view in James's Flea. As soon as I'm sure that we're not canted, I will get out of this momentarily. Second. And there we go. Okay. All right. Let's see. So we have, I'm over here with GNX, Mangoba in the Crusader, Lionel in the Shadow Cat. We've got a Marauder 4A, Stick of Fish again with that sniping with triple binary lasers on that. Amisama in the Piranha this time. And who did I miss? Typhon in the Phoenix Hawk. James going for Theta early 3-cap for Ghost and Nox, and I'll pass it over to Theris for the KDCM.
KDCM's full send brawl. They've got SRMs on the Summoner, Dervish, Hellspawn. So yeah, they're definitely going in, and they're pushing up the ramps already.
Yeah, we've got 10 heavy machine guns on Kamisama's Piranha here. KDCM pauses to take a look at what they're looking at from the GNX side of things. Mangoba getting a couple of shots in here, a little bit of trade going either way at this point. Zelnegan, the mislinks, starting to lose a bunch of, probably got a bunch of shots on there by probably Fish, if I had to say anyone. But here we are, GNX with the staggered line. Their Wolfpack up close with the Crusader. That Crusader is just so potentially tasty for the KDCM push. I think Mangoba is going to be the first one down. But I think what KDCM right here is doing is looking for the mistake. GNX is just kind of staying mobile, staying loose in the front, waiting for that push, which is coming now.
Here it is.
From underneath.
Making a low ground.
Towards with maneuvers. The Dervish, Zelnega, J, Dreadnought, they're all low with no ramp and not a whole lot of... Legged. Yeah, here we go. The fight is up here. As Sneck goes down for KDCM's first, Mangoba and the Crusader hanging on there as Jormungandr goes down as well. KDCM trying to sneak up against the traders when they had a whole wolf pack to eat all at front. Stick of Fish drops down out of the fight. Mangoba finally goes down. That took a hot minute. Zelnega about to go down here on KDCM's side.
Mad Cat's legged.
Kami-sama.
But KDCM's lost a lot of legs as well. Hellspawn is down.
And it is even on mechs at this point. To your point, Crusader leg now, looks like the traders have been taken out.
Marauder 2, Stick of Fish still alive, but not in the fight. That might matter here.
Oh, I think it absolutely does. Typhon dropping, that is a smart thing to do. Kami-sama just trying to close out some of these with James Giggity with that blast, just takes out Lionel Luther.
Prada's the last one fighting up top, but they don't have jump jets, so I guess they don't want to drop. That
one is down. Well, the fleet doesn't have it either, and James pieced out there to go support his friends down low. Now, let's drop down to the Theta Point where GNX is topping it off a little bit as they look for targets. KDCM maintaining mostly up top to try to find Typhon and James. Typhon making his way up top here, and the Phoenix Hawk is...
Yeah, here's the drop.
Yeah, and their FD closes Stick of Fish down.
So there's 2 left on the side of Ghosts of Nox.
What left?
Very beat up over for KDCM. I believe the Dervish just was legged.
Yep.
Crusaders legged on the bottom. So
there's still a lot of armor though.
Both legs are open.
We're looking at Giggity and the Viper. Yeah, is going to be the direct contest here, and we've got FD and that Summoner, and then taking out Typhon as well.
Not a lot of health remaining on KDCM for Survivors. Summoners open both legs. Vipers open one of their legs, and then the other 2, the Dervish and Crusader, were both legged. So, maybe with a little bit more range on the Phoenix Hawk, with the legs already open yellow, it would have been a tall task to ask there for a carry.
Yeah, the pathing there was really interesting. Some of the KDCM mechs going the low ground, I thought that was going to spell absolute disaster. But I think the GNX Wolfpack just kind of got caught up on the KDCM Wolfpack light, which was up top there. Looking at the damage, just overall pretty decent spread on both teams. 146 Zelnega, and that Mistlinks is the lowest. And that's a Mistlink, so halfway decent damage all around for the brawl that it was. Send you over for some stats.
Jormungandr, always leading the push. Always getting butchered.
Well, that's the nose to the grindstone, right?
Something like that. I mean, hey, it is exactly what I said you have to do. It's just a little sad to see the same guy doing it every time.
Oh yeah,
a little bit higher this time around. Jay's got 117. Jormungandr is 60. A couple with 20 on the opposing side on GNX, but other than that, damage relatively low across the board. Giggity's got 4 kills and top damage on their team, and FDLR has 3 kills with the Summoner. So I guess Ivor's maybe taking notes on that.
I mean, FD's already got some vote in the pool, so it's an overall, I'm pretty sure. So yeah. All right, side swapped.
All right, bring it up on the map room here. I don't know if you want to go over Vitric at all, Tios.
I'm gonna be honest. It's really hard to go over these maps when it's just a push that's over in 2 seconds. I mean, really, it's just going over the mech lab. Felt like KDCM had a lot more hybrid push, which is definitely the meta right now. But yeah, KDCM ran up, set up top, and then once they all were there, they ran over into the GNX traders, and then it becomes a full fuck you face brawl. And KDCM was built for the brawl, and GNX wasn't. I really want to spend more time talking about it. I really want to pretend it's more nuanced than that. But really, GNX just didn't seem fully prepared for a brawl. Like, their builds looked like they thought their enemy was going to brawl. But then their reactions, maybe they didn't prepare enough. Maybe they didn't practice enough preparing for a brawl. So
I think the Marauder 2 dropping was an issue there.
Yeah.
Forced down. It did take a lot of damage before dropping, but that was one mech that was still half alive but completely out of the fight.
Yeah, dropping is a scary thing because like obviously you don't want to be out of the fight, but also if you stay up there you drop. It's a really tough scenario, and I don't really think you can judge the players for it unless you're the one in the seat who decided to drop or stay up top when you're getting pushed. But typically speaking, if you drop and you split your team, you pretty much insta lose. So panic dropping is definitely not what you want to see here. But now we're on to mining.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the 2 maps that were least friendly for doing a push deck are now out of the way. So we're starting to enter more NSR map territory where it's very easy to brawl rush and kind of hard to get wrong. Mining, there's definitely still a lot you can screw up, but I would not be surprised if KDCM just ran at GNX here. GNX tries to set up a control strat, and then KDCM just wins and calls it a 3-0 for the night. Just judging off of how the last 2 went. Technically, Team 1 is the stronger trade control side for mining just because Cake. So GNX can set up Cakes, they can set up Echo 4, they can set up Citadel, set up what my team calls the tits. I don't actually know what they're called, and just set up a normal 3-cap control. KDCM sort of has pick of the litter wherever they want to push. Some more unorthodox teams from Team 2 like to push Cakes. A lot of teams will choose to push Citadel side, set up control, and then sweep through when the enemy team inevitably falls back to Cakes. If KDCM does push around the Epsilon Gamma line here, GNX has 2 options. They can set up and try to receive in sort of this deep Echo 3 area, which historically never goes well for Team 1. Every time you try to set up to receive a push in deep Echo 3, it's usually not going to go well. So if GNX is doing a full map control strat, they're going to have to wrap around. They're going to have to group up back on Cakes. They're going to have to get their team back to full strength, and they're just going to sort of have to get any early damage they can before KDCM will be able to get in close to brawl. If any GNX mechs, like here, or here, as they're trying to fall back, if they take early damage, or if any of them get clipped and die while they're trying to retreat, that can be an instant KDCM win. Mining, it can be a little difficult to react to a push if you don't have perfect scouting. So if KDCM does decide to push and GNX does not scout it perfectly, it's not going to go well. It's going to be really rough. And that's really all I have to say.
I think GNX has scouted the push both times, although the one time the scout cost him a dire wolf. But
dire wolf should not be a scout. Just gonna throw that out there as a general tip.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to check behind the island. So they've seen the push coming, and they've kind of preset for it on Vitric there, but I guess they just didn't get the damage out in time. So we've got a few more minutes here. So this is a potential is an elimination match. One of these teams is not going to be continuing on in the tournament going forward here. Right now it's 2-0 in favor of KDCM advancing. GNX is a team that has been around for quite some time in the competitive scene. They've been a high finishing team in previous championship series.
Yeah, GNX got 3rd place in 2021. I don't remember. I think they got 8th place in 2022. So it would be a little bit of a lackluster finish if they lose here compared to past years. But also anybody who's been keeping track of the MWO comp scene also knows that GNX isn't really at the full strength that they were before, say in 2021. GNX had some really powerful players in Carbon Fire before the Mech Enjoyers split. They had Simple Ukio and Huey the Great. Also their team leader, Samuel Salonen, who were all very, very, very heavy hitters. And it really sucks to say, but sometimes if your team loses those heavy hitters due to them just retiring and not wanting to play the game anymore, it can be really rough trying to get back to where you once were. And well, KDCM cannot lose this game just because they want to get 7th place. And in order to get 7th place, they need to make it to the next round. So KDCM cannot lose, and that's all I'm going to leave it at.
Right.
I kind of hope I kind of hope they go a little longer and we get a KDCM match. That would be entertaining, I think. But both teams ready. I'm going to send them out to Mining Collective, which might be the last drop of this match series.
Yeah, GNX needs a win here if they want to keep playing. So, we'll see what they bring.
All right, loading in. Let me. All right. Are we gonna set the camera for this one? I'll hang out here at this this arcing power plant. That's got to be a killer on efficiency. I'm just saying, they might want to get this fixed after the whole fight. All right, I am over here with KDCM. We've got Summoner, Viper, Dervish, Mistlings, Crusader. I mean, Jay will be in the SRM Assassin over here as well. I'm just going to check some of the variants here as they drop. The Assassin there yet with the SRMs, Dervish also SRMs as well. Let's get out of the way, dropship. And ER Peeps on the Crusader. What else might be interesting? The Marauder with heavy large and large pulse. That's interesting. And then Zelnega with the Mistlings G. All right, what do we got over here on Ghost of Nox?
We have a Gargoyle on GNX, which is quite an unusual pick. Red lasers on that, so definitely going to be pushing. Shadowcat's got ER large for the flanks, but the rest of this is mostly SRM, some machine guns as well. Definitely a brawl deck.
Yeah, and they are being
Gargoyle
very
does not
aggressive
have
of
jump
it.
jets.
KDCM
So-
a little spread out here. Yeah, I mean, jump jets on this map are often the best, but like that Gargoyle had its heyday, was it last year, the year before, and it still remains very potent with those small lasers. So it's a good push mech. We'll see how they end up using it. KDCM a little spread out for receiving a Ghost of Nox push. I don't know if they know that's what's going on. I think they haven't seen 3 or 4 of the GNX mix. They have. It's true.
And that tells you a lot.
Yep. I think they're just looking for where the rest of them are. Where's it coming from? And where do they set up for it? So we've basically got a skirmish line here for KDCM along the Theta high ground. GNX pushing up around the north, the Echo 4 side of the map as they sort of rotate around, and KDCM also keeping them at bay. So it looks like KDCM looking to jump Kamisama in the Gargoyle, who got left behind and down. That is a giveaway right there under my very nose as Ghost of Nox goes in after Jormungandr. Or Jormungandr missing a leg already. Stick of Fish goes down first though. As Jay and the Assassin, there goes Jormungandr. James coming in, the Piranha takes a 20% shot from Giggity. There's so many fights happening right here. Jay and Zelnega going after Arth, and Buster going down the Axie, Typhon going down in the Summoner. There's just everything is happening here at once. Let's go take a look here. Snek escaping with the Axie a little bit. James just making himself a nuisance in that Piranha. Might be able to take out Zelnega, who's open CT, except that Snek just takes him out. And then we've got a Viper versus a Shadowcat here. Lionel versus Dreadnought. As the rest of KDCM comes to disrupt the Batchel that was never declared, but we all want to see. 71 on 71%. It is so close as Zelnega comes in here with the mislinks. Not going to be a shift there on the case of Lionel, who tries to pull back, loses a leg, loses another leg, and this one goes to KDCM yet again, closing out this series with a 3-0 sweep.
Decisive 3-0. That's they look pretty strong here today.
Right. Just gotta collect that API there for a sec. Taking a look at some of these. 440 on that Viper for Dreadnought. Pretty good damage. And match high for that for sure. Yeah, I think the scores somewhat tell the story a little bit more. Focus from KDCM there, and absolutely jumping Kamisama in that Gargoyle, doing 103 in an assault mech. That is a little brutal, but getting caught out of position will do that for you.
I don't know what happened there. I don't think it was a disconnect, but it maybe was an attempt to make a pincer move there to meet the push. No jump jets on the Gargoyle, so it's a little bit more difficult for that to make those kinds of moves that the rest of the team was able to do.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what each team was aware of as well. But hey, let's pass it over to Tios to see what they saw.
I saw a Gargoyle get removed from this plane of existence.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what else there is to say. Honestly, it just felt like both teams decided to brawl, and KDCM just proved themselves the better brawlers. I don't know if that was GNX's fault for leaving the Gargoyle behind. I honestly think that was the Gargoyle's fault for picking the most unsafe path that you could possibly take given the scouting you have available. Even if the... how do I put this? No matter what the team leader says, the Gargoyle should have realized, if I go here, I die. Like, if I go here, that is just the end of everything. And he did not make that realization. And you know what? I'm going to be honest, though. That match was so one-sided. I'm not even sure GNX would have won if they had the Gargoyle. KDCM really came to brawl today, and they did a solid job.
Yeah, I think some of that is the GNX push was a bit tentative, especially with the Gargoyle getting jumped. I feel like KDCM was just so much more decisive on that last match, by orders of magnitude, and that is a big difference.
I mean, GNX pushed into a kill box. The Echo 5 low ground is a kill box, and there were high mechs up over Theta flanking. It just down a Gargoyle and pushing into a kill box.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is gonna do the that's gonna wow. My brain just shut down for a second there. That's gonna be all of the action for today. Do you want to have any thoughts about what's coming up here, Tios? We've got Clan Crossfire, or this weekend, 2 days from now.
Right.
We got Clan Crossfire Fjord.
Let me predict real quick, so that way it's on record.
That's right.
Darkseid Corsair beats KDCM Saturday night. Clan Crossfire Clan Crossfire beats Fjord. Mech Enjoyers beats Mech Enjoyers.
Yeah,
okay.
Clan Crossfire looked pretty strong against Equilibrium, so we'll see them against Fjord. I guess this is kind of one of those matches that I wasn't entirely sure how it would go, and it went pretty one-sided. Now, the winner of today's match, which is KDCM 17, the Q Dodgers, will be going on to face Mech Enjoyers. Whoever wins the Mech Enjoyers versus Mech Enjoyers Union match that is occurring on Saturday. those two teams get paired against each other in the next round. So, we'll know more about the bracket when the matches on Saturday have been played.
Yeah. Agree. Looking forward to that. And speaking of which, that's gonna make it bring us to the sign off. So thank you everyone for stopping by. It's Teos. Thank you as always for your insight. Always love to hear you talk about the game.
Sure thing. Thank you so much for having me here.
Absolutely. And Therix on the co-cast, thank you, and everyone for watching and both teams for playing. And as a reminder, MWO Leagues 2 is always going to have another perspective. So if you're watching these matches, go check it out. If you need you want a different perspective on the VOD, go check it out, MWO Leagues 2. And that's where Therix has been tonight.
Yeah, just trying to get you a second angle on those fights, try to bring the ones that Ivor maybe isn't pulling up, and get a little bit of first-person perspective on the MWO Leagues 2 channel right now. Let us know how you are enjoying that or not enjoying it, and we'll see if we keep doing it.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Easy sign off here. Have a great night, and we'll see you on, I guess it's Saturday Eastern. Probably Saturday for a bunch, but coming up in a couple days, check the tournament site. We got